This is Sasha George, and I just want to tell a story of something quite amazing. My son was picked for a lotto to participate in the Surfers Healing. It is a non-profit organization that teaches children with autism to surf, and it was founded by Mr. Paskowitz, and I had a chance to speak with him.
Well, my son was participant, so he's autistic as well.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I know, right?
I love that. There's been a few times that we've had, somebody come down that's doing an interview or a reporter that has, a child on the spectrum, and it's very pleasing. It's not what it was 30 years ago. It's
Right.
not 30 kids at events, We're hosting 6,000 children a year. So it's not just, a little charity anymore.
No.
So it does help. So I
Right.
have to do this interview now.
No, you don't have to. But I missed the opening of you about your son and stuff like that. Is that
Yes.
what inspired you?
Yes, that's that little guy right there.
Aww.
That's little not the little guy, but the giant guy, who's
Oh.
26 years old.
Wow, how is he doing now?
We've had 2 years of telling him on 2 years of perfect behavior. So it never is perfect, and you never can plan, what it's going to be the future.
Yeah.
We know a little bit, and I like having other parents, come here, because us as older parents can at least shed some light on what to expect a little bit in the future. And puberty's going to be gnarly, and after that, and then there's going to be like,
You're like me.
where are you gonna live? Is he gonna be with us forever? So
Right.
far, he's with us forever, and I don't know if that's the best solution. But as long as he's happy, I could give a shit.
Right.
As long as he's happy, my wife's happy, I'm happy, and I feel like I'm normal.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've noticed a lot of autism children are very drawn to the water.
Yes.
So it makes
Absolutely.
perfect sense to utilize it in that fashion.
Absolutely. I failed to mention with her that one of our team staff, first time in 20 years we actually have a hired person. They're going to South Africa, and it's this conference on a viable solution to a lot of different. It's that surf therapy.
So have you always been a surfer, and that's what inspired you
Yes,
to?
my father was one of the originals.
Oh wow.
Wasn't the best surfer in the world, but he was an icon in his time.
Oh okay.
And was born in 21 and was surfing in the 30s in San Diego, and it brought surfing to literally the first surfer to Israel, where now it's a thriving, $3 billion business with clothes and surfboards and product, because my dad, being a Jewish surfer, wanted to, kind of give back. Anyway, so that's kind of, our background. We grew up really, really weird and different. We lived in a camper and traveled around the United States. And so I was a little bit different. So having Isaiah was a great help, and knowing I was different, growing up. Surfer, we lived in a camper on the beach. Every Friday we'd get out of the camper, hold hands, and sing the Shema and do the Shabbat.
What's a shaman? I'm from Chicago.
Just the Sabbath, the Friday Sabbath prayers, the Jewish prayers.
Oh, okay.
And the full thing, and we all were bar mitzvahed. But I know I look like I sell heroin to bikers. My mom was Mexican, and my dad.
I thought you were like a aromatherapist, actually.
Me?
Yeah.
No. I'm way behind like the oil ball.
Okay.
But for me, it's like replaced like cologne. I love the smell of it. And I just had like sinus surgery, so I haven't been able to smell in 20 years. So
oh wow.
That's kind of my purpose.
So you drew your son to the water, and how did it feel therapeutically to him? Did it calm him? Did it give you a sense that he could have a little freedom?
It definitely was the respite for like his nerviness. When he was in the water, he was absolutely calm.
Yeah.
And I threw him in. It was a one situation where he was throwing a fit, and I'm in a world championship contest in Hawaii, and my wife said, "You got to take Isaiah up." I didn't talk about my son with the other pro surfers who I'm trying to be focused and surf against and be the best in the world. And I took him from Danielle and I threw him in the water of Haleiwa as far as I could. Well, he went under, and he popped up, and obviously you're going to stop crying, but he kind of like had a smirk on his face, and then he was happy. And so I got my board and we went out and we spent a couple hours in the water. And from being an insomniac that evening, he fell asleep, on the way home.
The salt and the calm.
Yeah, there's a lot of physiological data that the water is helpful and calming, and you have arrhythmia. You go to the hospital, they'll put your face in ice water.
Right.
Sometimes that's all it takes to put your heart back in rhythm. Divers, for years, those deep water divers, they take deep breaths, but once they put their face in the water, their heart slows down and the respiration slows, and it allows them to go 300 meters in the water.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that are just facts that are now coming to light, and there are people writing books on the healing powers of the water. But I do think there's everything in it, and with this convergence of the sky and the land, and that's where the land ends, and the ocean. It's so powerful. This edge of the United States, and the Pacific, colliding together. I think it makes an impact, and our kids that are just touchy-feely sensory kids just adapt and thrive.
Well,
in
they
these
always
conditions.
want hugs and to feel a pressure.
Yeah, that deep pressure.
And it works well with the ocean.
Absolutely.
Like
Even go out in the water, I'll read something that Temple Grandin writes about, little hugs aren't good. Give big, deep hugs. So if I'm in the water, if a kid's thrashing, I'll hold them tight and, we'll sing a song or whatever. And so every one of these guys have that kind of vibe. And, I've done this for so long, and I've known him for 40 years and him for 20 years. And although they might not have, autistic children of their own, they're the altruistic ones. They're the ones that, I look up to and are my heroes, and perpetuate this, as a foundation and as a means of therapy to, all of us with, special kids, and it's a tough thing.
It's very tough.
It's heartbreaking, and it turns your soul black.
It does. It does. Me and my partner, we both have children with autism, and it's therapeutic for us to go out and reach people and be able to express it and give resources.
Right. But then also, don't you find it's not like typical kids? If you go like on date night and you're with another parent and they're like, okay, no talking about the kids.
No.
Hell, we always talk about our guys. It defines us for the rest of our lives, to the day we die.
Yes, it is. And I hate sometimes I always have to justify it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry, my child is autistic.
Oh, I'll take advantage of that as much as possible. My handicap placard, it's my VIP pass.
You're like,
it's
okay.
like, whoa, I just dropped my son off, officer, I swear. All right, well, you're fine then, no ticket.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
It was nice meeting you.
You too.